Hey there, folks! We all heard of and are familiar with the Salem witch trials, but what about witch hunts and trials in Europe, particularly of medieval Europe? Well, buckle up, buttercups. This video is all about the witch hunts of medieval Europe. Let us draw the heavy velvet curtains, light a single candle against the encroaching dark, and settle in for a tale both terrible and true. We are about to journey back through the centuries, to a time when fear walked hand in hand with faith, and the shadow of the pyre fell long across the face of Europe. Gather close, and imagine, if you will, a world not so very different from our own, yet shrouded in a deeper twilight. It is a world of whispering forests and isolated villages, where the line between the sacred and the profane is thin as a grave shroud. The church bells toll, but so do the anxieties of a life fraught with peril. A sudden frost that kills the harvest, a mysterious illness that steals a child, the bitter strife between old gods and new. In this world of unseen forces, the human heart seeks answers, and all too often it finds them in a whisper: witchcraft. This was not a sudden fever, but a slow, creeping chill that settled into the bones of medieval Europe. It began in the murky space where ancient folk beliefs, the cunning ways of healing herbs and reading signs in nature, met the rigid new orthodoxy of the church. For a time, these old practices were merely dismissed as peasant superstition. But as the church sought to consolidate its power, the narrative twisted and grew darker. The village wise woman was no longer just a harmless eccentric. She was recast as a devil worshipper, a heretic who had turned her back on God and pledged her soul to the Prince of Darkness in exchange for terrible power. This terrifying idea was given its grim Bible in 1487 with the publication of the Malleus Maleficarum, the Hammer of Witches. Penned by the zealous Heinrich Kramer, this odious manual provided a step-by-step guide to identifying, trying, and extracting confessions from those accused of witchcraft. Its pages dripped with a particularly venomous misogyny, portraying women as inherently weak-willed and susceptible to Satan's seductive charms. The book became a bestseller of bloodshed, its doctrines spreading like a poison through the courts and cloisters of the continent. And so the great machine of persecution began to turn. Its first major trial run began in 1428 in the Swiss region of Valais, a dark blueprint for the horrors to come. For 8 years the terror held sway. To be condemned, one needed only 3 neighbors to speak your name in accusation. The accused, mostly poor men, were subjected to the inevitable torture, and under its relentless agony they confessed to fantastical sins, attending spectral sabbaths, consorting with the devil, shape-shifting into wolves, and blighting crops with a glance. Their end was almost always the same: bound to a ladder and pushed into the eager flames, a bag of gunpowder tied around their neck as a final grim act of mercy. The frenzy reached its zenith between 1560 and 1630, a perfect storm of religious war, social upheaval, and the Little Ice Age's cruel famines. People needed a reason for their suffering, and the witch provided a perfect scapegoat. Nowhere was the hunt more voracious than in Germany, where entire towns fell under its spell. In Bamberg, the fanatical Prince-Bishop Johann Georg II Fuchs von Dornheim built a dedicated Hexenhaus, a witch house, complete with torture chambers adorned with Bible verses. Here, thumbscrews, leg vices, and the strappado did their gruesome work, tearing confessions and new names from the accused. The hunt showed no prejudice. It consumed men, women, and children alike, only ending when a brave escapee brought the emperor's wrath down upon the bishop. The methods of identification were a macabre theatre of the absurd. A witch hunter might prickle the skin of the accused with a silver blade, a devil's mark that felt no pain and shed no blood, a trick often ensured by using a retractable needle. They might subject them to the swimming test, where innocence was proven only by drowning. The merest sign of difference, a peculiar mole, a sharp tongue, a solitary life, could seal one's fate. Those on the margins, the elderly, the widowed, the poor healers, were especially vulnerable, their existence a threat to the established order. This European export of fear even sailed to the New World, culminating in the brief but infamous nightmare of Salem in 1692. Though its death toll was smaller, its cultural memory burns just as bright, a stark reminder that no corner of the Western world was immune to the contagion of hysteria. But what of the individuals caught in this grinding machine? Their stories are the true heart of the darkness. Consider Anna Göldi, executed in Switzerland in 1782, often called the last witch of Europe. A poor servant woman, she was likely silenced by a powerful man with whom she'd had an affair. Her story is a timeless tragedy of power, betrayal, and the vulnerability of the voiceless. Or the most famous flame of all, Joan of Arc, a political martyr burned under the convenient guise of witchcraft and heresy, a victim not of superstition alone but of the cold, calculating machinery of state. So how did this long night finally end? The darkness was slowly pushed back by the emerging dawn of the Enlightenment. Thinkers began to champion reason and evidence over spectral testimony and coerced confession. Judges grew skeptical of accusations born from torture. The laws that sanctioned the burnings were gradually repealed. The world, weary of the bloodshed and fear, began to awake from its long, terrible dream. Yet the echo of those footsteps on the cobblestones, the scent of wood smoke and ash, and the memory of a neighbor's accusatory glance remain with us. The witch hunts stand as a permanent, chilling monument in our collective history, a cautionary tale about the poison of mass hysteria, the danger of unchecked authority, and the profound human capacity for cruelty in the name of purity. It is a Gothic story written not in ink, but in fire and fear, reminding us that the darkest shadows are often the ones we cast ourselves. Happy Halloween, everyone! Just as a reminder, we also have videos about the Salem witch trials, why witches wear pointy hats and fly on brooms, and on the origins of Halloween.
Thank you for watching. Hope you found this video informative and entertaining. Please subscribe, like, share, and comment. We do like to know and hear your feedback. And if you have the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon, where you can get early access to our videos, and where we post bonus material. Till next time, this is Geeky Tidbits saying cheers and have a good day.